Cool Kids Film Club Podcast. Watch films with us.
I'm going to pretend to be typing as well. Welcome to CKFC News. In these trying times, as the country is about to go into yet another lockdown, we invite you to join us in saying fuck you, COVID, fuck you and your mother. Scientists have recently discovered that all strains of COVID hate movies. The virus literally cannot survive inside a digital movie file. We therefore believe that we have found what may well be the only way to fight this virus. A film club. So, stay home, stay safe, and stay sane with the Cool Kids Film Club podcast. So hello, welcome to the Cool Kids Film Club podcast. We're not cool, we're not kids, but this is a film club. We're just really shit at naming things. Thought of it, just came to me back when we started it back in April last year, and we've stuck with it just because we can't think of anything else. Yeah. Anyway, I'm Trevor. I'm in charge around here, and I'm joined by this beautiful, beautiful man, Gavin Rye. Gavin Rye, say hi.
Hello.
Indeed.
How are you, Trevor?
I'm not too bad. Slowly getting there. Yeah. How are you?
Fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind not going out, so we're all good.
Yeah, nothing's changed here. So yeah, as I was saying, the film club that we started actually started back in April last year of 2020 during the first of the lockdowns. Do you remember that back then?
Yeah, God, those were the days.
Indeed, they were wonderful. Back then we were doing 3 films a week. 109 films in total. How many of those did you watch?
The majority, I'd say. I was in it for a while. Fell off near the end.
Same. And that's actually a perfect segue, Kevin. Almost brilliantly planned, because we were doing 3 a week, and that was just too many. Most people weren't bothering. I even slipped off a bit towards the end. So we've narrowed it down. We're now doing 1 film a week, and we're doing a podcast so we can focus a bit more on it. And yeah, this week, oh shit on my word that I can't say. I didn't change this. Hold on. We're still in the news studio, but now, as if by magic, we've changed location to the CKFC Film Club studio. Forgot to do that. Yeah. Anyway, this week's film is a film chosen by a man that lives in my shed, Keir Mills, and that film is The Believer, 2001. Gavin, do you have anything to say?
Directed by Henry Bean, who also wrote the film. He's only ever directed one other film called Noise, which has an interesting synopsis. A man is driven crazy by the noise in New York City, and he decides to take vigilante action against it. But apparently, not very good reviews from what I can see. He's more well known as a writer. He's written, obviously, The Believer, Deep Cover, Internal Affairs, and Stan Collymore Basic Instinct 2.
Stan Collymore, classic actor.
Yeah, Stan Collymore's in it. You know Stan Collymore, right?
Football pundit, isn't he? He used to be a player. I don't know.
He used to be a football player, yeah. Liverpool, ex-Liverpool player.
That's before my time. I only got into football a couple of years ago.
Used to go out with Eureka Johnson. Got caught dogging once. He's a good man. My kind of guy. Actually, I think he might have got done for beating his wife. So I don't approve of that so much.
Right.
But the footballing,
yeah,
and the dogging.
Footballing and dogging, well done. But we as a channel,
come on, Stan.
As a channel, I feel we should probably, if we have to choose a side of the fence to be for or against wife beating, I'm going to go against. against,
Yeah.
just to be safe.
Yeah. So the film also stars, the film stars Ryan Gosling in quite an early role for him, actually.
It was
Uh,
actually about 10 years ago. I was looking up about 10 years before I'd even heard of him.
Yeah, one of his first films, actually. Before that, he was just a mouseketeer. You know what
Mouseketeer.
that is? He
But it's
worked on the Disney Channel,
Mm.
and with Britney Spears, I think. Actually, he worked with Britney Spears.
Magic. See, the knowledge you get from this podcast, you would never have found that out. So yeah, like literally, I think the first thing I saw him in was probably Drive, which was 2011.
Let me have a think. What the first film of his I've seen is Stay from 2005.
Never heard of it. So yeah, should we get into discussing it? What did you think?
What did I think? It's okay. It's all right. I think I expected a bit more from it. Ryan Gosling is brilliant.
He is. I will say
He does a
that.
good job. Although the start of the film, where he's on the subway and he's harassing this Jewish kid, and I remember thinking, I don't think he has the face for hate. He's got quite a kind face, and he's trying to be menacing to this little Jewish kid. And I was like, for a bit, I was like, oh, I don't think he's gonna work as a skinhead.
I feel I disagree. I found that scene quite unsettling. I think he looked quite good.
I think when he's like just stepping on the kid's toes a bit. It's not very menacing, really. I mean, he obviously gets to the point where he beats him up outside, but before that, he's just got this kind of kind-looking face, and he's stepping on the kid's toes. And I was,
all right, put yourself in the Jewish kids' shoes. You're on this.
I want to be in his shoes. They got trod on.
Exactly. Are you going to feel comfortable? Ryan Gosling's there, standing on you, staring at you.
Not going to be comfortable, but for a film, I think he could have been a bit more menacing there.
Fair enough. I wouldn't like it. I'd be scared. And yeah, it paints the picture perfectly of him as a grade A cunt. Follows him off the train, beats him up. Lovely chap.
Yeah.
Sets up the character quite well, I felt. Then what we really get an idea of him is his monologue about killing Jews about 8 minutes into the film, where he's in that meeting.
Sure.
Were you expecting anything like that? Did you know what the film was going to be?
I just read the synopsis, but I didn't expect him to go into the meeting. There's a couple of instances of that, actually. I mean, that's his first time at this meeting, and he's like, I want to kill the Jews. And then there's like later on where he goes to the camp, and I think he's been there about 5 minutes, and he's like, I want to make explosives. So there's no messing about with him. He's straight in there. He doesn't like try and work out the characters he's with or anything. He's straight in there. I kill the Jews.
He knows what he
No
wants.
messing about.
He knows what he wants.
Well, he does, yeah. I do like how when he says he wants to kill the Jews, somebody says, who are you going to kill? Barbara Streisand.
Yeah, there were a few suggestions. I forget all the others, but yeah.
Barbara Streisand's the best.
Good comic relief for such a brazen speech. Oh, I'm getting texts. Did you get an alert then? Did anything come up? Good. It won't be coming through on the audio. It's my parents. They always seem to know when I'm recording, and they message me then.
It's lucky my parents don't know anything about the internet, so there's none of that with them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few very good scenes in the film. First note I have is the court-enforced sensitivity training meeting with Daniel and his gang meeting a group of Holocaust survivors. I believe they were Holocaust survivors. We're talking about the way they were treated. And one of them's telling a story of how his 3-year-old son was murdered in front of him. on the bayonet, risen up, and it gets a reaction from the gang.
Well, it definitely gets a reaction from Ryan Gosling's character, Daniel, because later in the film, we get those little kind of flashback type things of him putting himself in the position of both the Nazi officer and the father. So it's something that obviously has stuck in his mind.
Indeed. And I mean, that isn't a perfect example of the conflict, I feel, going on in his character throughout the film. He's putting himself in both characters.
I mean, we should say that he is Jewish.
He is Jewish. He hates that about himself, clearly.
That he does hate it about himself. I think he's very conflicted about it. I think he's clearly got issues with the Jewish faith because of there's flashbacks of him questioning it from a child at school.
You make a good point.
I'm not sure it's out and out.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
Right. It's not that he hates being a Jew so much, but he seems to disapprove of the way that the religion is viewed. He thinks he has a better understanding of it than his teachers and than the majority of Jews, and he hates what other Jews are rather than.
Yeah, and just the ridiculous of the religion. There's a bit with his father where I can't quite remember the Jewish tradition, but like something to do with on Fridays or on the Sabbath, they're not allowed to watch TV.
Indeed.
And his dad has some workaround for it. He's like, well, the electricity's already there. What's the difference me using it? I think he's obviously got issues with those petty elements of the religion.
Indeed. But, I mean, there are multiple scenes in the film where he is quite protective of certain Jewish traditions. The Holy Scripture in the church. Torah, that's the one. He's very protective of that, even in front of his gang, putting his place in the gang in jeopardy somewhat by protecting it. I mean, I wasn't expecting that at the time, but once it unfolds a bit more, you kind of understand why.
Yeah, I'm not too sure I ever got why he drew that line there.
They're not so much.
He was still willing to blow the place up, but why that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to blow the place up, you'd imagine that what was it, Torah, that would be blown up as well. So, not too sure.
When he takes it, would he have taken it otherwise? I mean, is that like the line where because that's like the big thing for the Jewish religion, the Torah. Would he have taken that if it hadn't have been ripped by the gang? Would he have left it there to be blown up?
I got the impression. I mean, this is getting into major spoiler territory for the later part of the film. By the way, spoilers, don't listen to this if you haven't seen the film. We will discuss trailers, spoilers. But later on in the film, at the second church he attempts to blow up, he doesn't take it then, does he? It's a different church. He doesn't take the Torah from that.
No, because he's reading from it. He's reading from it, isn't he, at the end?
So he must have no problem blowing it up.
I guess so.
My assumption was he just took it to fix it. But why fix it if he was going to blow it up?
Blow it up anyway. I'm not too sure. I guess that's just all part of his conflictions.
Yes.
What did you think of the character of Carla, played by Summer Felix?
Yes. She was interesting, wasn't she? She had some quirks, shall we say? I mean,
I don't know what to think of her at all, to be honest. I don't know her deal, really. I mean, it's clear that she's put across as an extremely troubled character. I mean, she wants him to hurt her, and she's having sex with, that's her mother's. Is he her boyfriend? I'm not too sure. They're definitely involved.
When I watched it, I thought it was her dad originally. I thought they, and I was like, oh, okay. And she even invites, Daniel to watch, doesn't she? So I mean, she's
Yeah.
clearly into some
The woman is definitely her mother, but I don't know about him if he's her father or not.
gorgeous partner. But either way, it's a little bit interesting, quirky. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, but I liked that element of her character. If she was too normal, then it wouldn't be so believable that she would fall for Daniel. She obviously sees some troubled conflict in Daniel and resonates with that.
I just don't know where what it does for his character. I mean, you're not with her enough to really explore her character, and not sure what effect she has on him. I mean, at one point she's wanting to learn all about the Jewish faith and things, but is that her only purpose, to then make him kind of think more about his Jewish background?
I think so. Yeah, I mean that's her main purpose, in my opinion. The scenes with her wanting to learn the language behind it so that she can read things, it gives us an understanding of his appreciation of the scripture and so forth.
Then that just seems a little bit forced from her perspective.
How so?
Just that I don't know why a girl would be like, oh, I want to basically practice being a Jew, because she sets up the whole dinner thing. I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, she sets that up and wants to do that and wants to learn the thing, but I don't know why. I mean, it just seems for his purpose rather than, I'm not sure where that comes on her from her character.
So from her point of view, I just got from her, she wasn't necessarily anti-Jew per se. She was just the trouble of it and the word has escaped me, but the taboo nature of it appeals to her somewhat.
What do you mean? Maybe like, I guess, yeah, now you've said that, I guess there's sort of the rebelling against your parents thing
Indeed.
element of it, with her parents having a neo-Nazi party.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe she wants to learn more about the Jewish faith to see why that hate is there so much.
Don't know really, if I'm honest, but I liked her character. I liked some of the aspects of it and her.
She just kiss him directly after he's vomited and has vomit all over his face.
Exactly, and that's exactly what you want in a girlfriend or romantic partner. It's someone who will kiss you when you've thrown up. What did you think of Daniel's efforts to fulfill what he promises in that early speech? He says, "This is what I'm going to do. This is this person I'm going to kill. This is how I do it." And then 45 minutes into the film, I made a note saying he's not really done much yet. He's just started a fight with some guy in a restaurant. I felt his efforts underwhelming.
I was going to bring up that scene where he, him and, oh, I forgot his name now, the other guy who ends up killing the Jewish guy, like he gives him the sniper rifle. Do you think he misses on purpose there?
No. Well, it's possible.
That scene is really badly done as well. It's so rushed. It's like, oh, here we are in the bushes. Oh, look, here's that guy. You're going to shoot him. Okay, I'll shoot him. I've shot him. Oh, look, you're a Jew. I'll shoot you. Cut away. It's finished. That was a really badly done scene.
I felt the actual writing of it was a bit rushed as well, not just the execution. Why was he wearing the? I've got a note of what it was. I made a note of what it was called. I was really proud of myself, and now I've completely lost it. Why did I know? Prayer Shaw it's called.
I can only assume that he was going to go kill the Jewish guy, so he wanted some sort of connection with the Jewish faith still, and kept that on. I did at first question it, but I thought about it for a bit, and I was like, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Seemed.
And also, he shoots that guy. That guy knows he's Jewish. The guy isn't dead. And then that's just it for that guy.
Yeah,
Later
well,
on, he kills the Jewish guy, but he doesn't tell the group that this guy is Jewish. He doesn't do anything.
yeah, this is exactly what I said. I've made a note. Why did Daniel keep the pressure around his body even when heading out to kill a Jew? Then somebody sees it. They have a scrape. The other guy gets shot, yet survives, and then nothing ever comes from that. Why did it happen at all?
Don't know. There's no answer for that. That just seemed quite badly done. It almost feels like there must have been deleted scenes with that guy. That it just had to be. I mean, it was. He's never seen it, is he? You just see that.
No.
Another really badly done scene. That like flashback to him killing the guy on the street.
Yeah, I mean that's the end. What did you think of the end? Or is there anything pre-end that you want to discuss? Yeah.
Before the end as well, what was his name? I did write that down. Manzetti. When Manzetti is killed, like everyone suspects Daniel, but like the police aren't on his case. He's got no worries. He's walking about the street still.
Yeah, I mean, the only link that I could see was that he was the person who he said he would kill in that original meeting. He said, "This is what I'm going to do. This is who I'm going to kill," and that was the guy. And then he dies. So. But only the people in the meeting would know that. So where the police link came from, I'm not sure.
The reporter knew.
True. And when he found out he was a reporter, how come he didn't say anything about him being a reporter and he allowed him to keep coming to future meetings? I found that strange.
And also there's that woman who tries to make Daniel an informant. She says that half of the people at that meeting are informants. Yet then when what's his name again? Manzetti gets killed. Again, there's no. Surely somebody's saying, "I'm going to kill Manzetti." Manzetti gets killed. The meeting is apparently full of informants. Yet the police don't go after him.
Maybe they would have. What's the timeline? I'm unsure of Manzetti's death to the final scene in the church.
Well, we should say as well, this is based on a true story. And in the true story, the guy kills himself the same day as the story comes out.
Okay. So
but I feel like there was a little more time with this. So how about the ending?
Well, the end, funny you should say about it being a true story. I usually not hate, but dislike films based on true stories. The ends are usually a little bit meh, because obviously they're based on what actually happened. They can't put in the perfect ending. They just have to tell you how it happened. But I kind of liked this, how he dies and then you get the whole afterlife scene, with obviously skipping the church bit though. Why do you feel he saved the people?
Let's see. It feels like a what's the term? A change of heart. But I mean, the whole time he's wrestling between himself being Jewish and hating them. But I guess it all just comes to a boil at the end. That's where he's got to make his final decision. He's at the, what is it, altar? No? A
church of some kind, some religious place. There you go.
No, the actual thing. Is it like an altar?
Yeah, I guess.
And is that where he's finally making his decision? Because he had the opportunity beforehand to tell them all to get out and doesn't. So he's obviously still in the mind of killing everybody right up until the end.
Do you feel he still would have saved everybody if his lady friend wasn't in the audience? Because that seemed to be the main person he was telling to get out before he started.
True. Yeah, I mean, it comes down to both his lady friend there, Carla, being there, and the fact that he'd been outed.
Mm.
Would he even have gone if he'd have been outed? Would he have just left it?
I'd have said just left it, probably. I mean, he left the other one, the first attempt, didn't he?
Yeah.
His only real reasons for the suicide was because he had been outed.
Yeah, I mean, he even says that to the reporter, doesn't he, when he holds the gun to his head?
Classic line. Yeah. If you tell anyone, I'll kill myself. I might cut that bit out because Keir does that very similarly in a bit we're about to cut to, which means I can't cut it out because it's in reference to this point that I'm saying. But
So with the ending, do you think he's in purgatory? I mean, that was my take of it.
I mean, you've ruined my segue there completely. But yes, he is. I liked that. I liked the sequence, him running up the stairs. I made a note of what he said. Danny, stop. Where are you going? Don't you know there's nothing up there? He didn't say it in that voice at all, but those were the words. What did you think of that statement?
Yeah, I thought it was quite good. I liked the scene.
I mean,
Where do you think? Go on.
Just saying, you don't get that in many films based on real events, which is my problem with a lot of them. But they put that in. I liked it.
On the subgenre of neo-Nazis, there are films I like a lot more than this. Stuff like Romper Stomper, American History X. I guess you could also include This Is England almost, and it's a bit different, really. It's not so much neo-Nazi as lost my train of thought there.
I was just engrossed. All right. Well, this is about a couple of minutes too late, but the perfect segue was the mention of Keir. This is a lad that we know back from our filming days. He's done us a segment on the film. The person who suggested the film, we should say that as well. It was his suggestion. He's done us a segment that we're going to cut to right about now. Give us a cheer for Keir.
Yay!
The Believer, 2001. The Believer is Ryan Gosling's best ever movie of 2001. Only his third movie, following Remember the Titans and Frankenstein and Me, one of which everybody has seen and the other which no one has seen, and arguably these should be the other way round. Afterwards, he went about boring people in Murder by Numbers, a title so incredibly apt. I almost applaud its irony if I hadn't misused the word irony so many times before that I'm quite unsure as to what it actually means. Before then, going on to ruin an entire generation's date nights with The Notebook. They're in the rain and everything. Until he finally landed in that, now let me get this right, I've written it down. Until he finally landed in that blessed but eternally short-lived dream space of critically acclaimed cult unknown. Slap me on the back because I don't watch the mainstream. My movies can be found in the R-Staff Picks section in HMV. R.I.P. With the movies Half Nelson and Lars and the Real Girl. Before then being forced through the gears to superstardom by the normal mix of Pushy Agent and lust for meme stardom. He still won't eat his cereal. With the Steps, Blue Valentine, Crazy Stupid Love and Drive. Before he decided to go all Clooney on us and pick roles intelligently with movies such as The Ides of March and Place Beyond the Pines. But hey, Ryan Gosling's a grown-up. And we all know what happened next. But we choose not to make a song and dance about it, which is more than can be said for Emma Stone and Ryan. Blade Runner 2049 was alright though, stupidly long and clever, but hey, Gosling is a grown-up. So yeah, The Believer is Ryan Gosling's best ever movie of 2001. The Believer also stars somebody once described as the late great River Phoenix's sister, or the current great Joaquin Phoenix's sister, depending on whether I have love for you because you were born in the 80s. The 80s. Summer Phoenix, who in this movie proves that she is more than just a sibling. She is also a pretty face, nearly Ryan's equal. And possibly contender for the crown of kook before Zooey Deschanel got her grubby mitts all over it. Of course, Aubrey Plaza then went and claimed it, and we should have no reason to be unhappy about that. Billy Zane also shows off his relatively pleasant acting chops. I mean, what can you say about Billy Zane? He is never the best or worst thing in a movie. Titanic and Dead Calm aside. He lives and exists for movie trivia. That's his role. Everyone forgets to remind people that he was actually in the Back to the Future trilogy because they're too busy being smug about the fact that they know Elijah Wood was in the second one. There are also other actors in The Believer. Trust me. The Believer is based on the true story of Dan Buros, a member of the American Nazi Party and the KKK who killed himself after he was outed as a Jew by a New York Times reporter. It began its life as a short movie called 1000, also written and directed by Henry Bean, and starring Judah Lazarus in the lead role, who also pops up in this movie in the much smaller role of Avi, which leads me to believe that he was good, but just not pretty enough to look at for 100 minutes. Lovely little touches in The Believer include a possible nod to Lenny Bruce, with the idea of dismantling prejudicial slurs by repetition, and also an excellently written and performed monologue, which precedes that quote, "If you print that in a New York Times, guy, I'm going to kill myself." In fact, it is the diatribe spoken by Gosling's Danny Baylant which is the major crux of this movie. The conflict occurring on screen is reflected back by the audience with this delicately handled mechanism. These speeches are all incredibly articulate, but always plain wrong. Much like Baylant's struggle with his identity in the movie, we are left to battle whether we can applaud a movie that is so brazenly and awkwardly anti-Semitic, while simultaneously addressing the historic injustices and harm inflicted on the Jewish community, and as such positioning itself on the far right, whilst fighting the corner for sympathy and righteousness. It is testament to this movie that I believe we can. Fight me. We are also faced with the conundrum as to whether discrimination is more palatable if the offender themselves is a minority. Do they have rights to a more balanced view of the issues at play? The answer, of course, is a resounding no. No, they don't. That is frankly ridiculous. Not looking at anyone at all, Priti Patel apologists. When all's said and done, if The Believer was an actor, it would be David Strathairn. Dependable, intriguing, older than you think, and really strangely memorable, although you might forget the name. As will always be true, the comments in this section are facts, not opinions. However, if you want to label them as opinions to justify your own incorrectness when you don't agree with something that I've said, well, I guess I'll have to concede to that, out of pure darned politeness. Laters.
So yeah, that was the bit from Keir Mills, the fucking genius that he is. Thank you very much for doing that. You've put me and Gavin to shame. We look like putzes. We do. But Gavin is good at chucking pens in the air. So, I mean, could Keir do that? Could Keir do that little pen trick? I'd like to see him try. All that's really left for us to do is rate the film. So what we're going to do is break it down into some segments.
Are we?
Giving different scores. I did send you this. I'll send you it by WhatsApp. What would you give a score for the casting/acting out of 10?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. So I'm going to go an 8 for that. Some solid performances in there.
That's exactly what I did. I did an 8. How about the story/plot?
There's not a ton of plot. I mean, it's more of a character piece. So,
Story.
it's hard. Huh?
The story, the piece as a whole.
I think after about an hour or so, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of him talking about what he's going to do. Not a great deal of doing it. I think I'm going to go 6 for that.
It's like you're seeing my screen. I did 6 as well. I mean, I liked the characters. There's some brilliant monologues in there, but yeah, I mean, him as a character, and this is partly at fault because it's based on a true story. They couldn't have him going around killing all these people and doing stuff that he didn't do in the actual real life. But it did feel a little bit underwhelming. If I'm gonna watch a film about a Jew killer, I want to see some Jews get killed. I mean, that is a little soundbite. I want to see some Jews get killed. That's touchy, isn't it? How about the technical rating? So the camera work, stuff like that.
I like the look of it. It's quite a grainy, gritty look to the film. Let's give it a 7.
Yeah, slightly more generous than me. I went 6. It was all right, but nothing really stood out for me. It was fine. So you went 7. Overall enjoyment.
You're not doing score because I'm giving the score. The score is dreadful.
Score. Well, there's a section for bonus points where you can either give or take away bonus points. So you can give it a minus on bonus points if you wish for the score aspect. But how about the enjoyment rating?
Enjoyment. Oh God, it's a tough one to say about a film with such hard-hitting issues. Give it a 6.
That's what I did. We're very samey on these scores. Same. I mean, you can't really enjoy this kind of film, I suppose, but you can. But yeah. All right, and then a bonus points section. So basically, we've had 4 sections so far, 10 each, brings us up to 80. So now as a bonus point section, you can go from -10 up to 10. For example, I'll give you what I've done. I've given it what did I 5 bonus points for the exceptional monologues and a weird sex scene with a girl and her father.
Possible father.
Possible
I
father.
don't think it's
Well, so I've went 5 for bonus
I'm
points.
finding this confusing, so I'm going to give it no bonus points because
No bonus points. All right.
I'm taking some away for the score. The score is dreadful. There's a couple of scenes. The scene where we see the guy kill Manzetti, it's just got this awful score over it. And there's a bit earlier on that sounds like it's from some like late 90s religious horror film, like Stigmata or something. It just seems so dated and horrible.
Now you've mentioned the score, and it's in specific the bit when Mancini's getting shot. I liked that score. I actually looked it up, and I was going to try to have it as like the intro to the podcast, but legalities of copyright, etc. I thought it was all right. It had some strange kind of noises in the background as stuff was going on. Do you not approve?
No, I didn't like it. I thought it stood out quite like a sore thumb.
Fair enough. So you said you're going to take some points away. How many?
I just said 0 points. So I
Oh,
didn't give
0.
it any.
So you're not taking any away. You're just blank. Because figure it's from -10 to 10. So 0 is kind of in the middle.
Yeah, sure.
This is what I do. I overcomplicate everything. Talk to the camera for a bit whilst I add these up.
Talk to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, in the world of neo-Nazi dramas, this isn't high up for me. I prefer Romper Stomper, American History X, Made in Britain, or is it Made in England? I forget now. It's Made in Britain, isn't it? the Alan Clark film. They're all better than this.
So, all right, 58 we've given it. So, do we want to round it up to 6 out of 10, or do we want to say 58%?
It's a
Six.
6 out of 10 film.
Yeah,
Really.
that's our ratings. Our ratings have given it 6 out of 10. So I feel my rating system's quite good. Over complex and weird and confusing, but it came to a 6 out of 10, which is what I think I would have given it. Anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it. We're done. We'll hopefully be releasing one of these every Friday. I was gonna do the draw, Gavin, but I can't do the draw.
Just go to there's a random number generator website.
All
It's
right.
like random.org or something.
Random number generator. So there's a Facebook page. On that Facebook page is where anybody can join. Anyone can put in films for suggestions for us to watch. We'll watch them, make a podcast episode about them. Right now, as of this moment in time, there are 4 entries, just 4. Each week that goes by, this is another aspect of me overcomplicating things, but each week that goes by that your film is not picked, you get an extra entry. So the 4 films that are in there each have 2 entries each, because Keir was in there, his film was chosen. So 2 entries each, 4 films, 8 numbers, generate result 5, which, looking this up, is Stephen Hooper's Soul from 2020. That is the film that we will be doing next week. So join us.
A Pixar film.
Indeed. I've lost the cursor, so I can't change things around. Yeah, anything else you'd like to say before we depart?
We should give, maybe not the address, but what the film club is called on Facebook, so people can join.
Cool Kids Film Club. Just go to Facebook, search for that. You'll find it. Anyone can join. 18 plus, please. We do swear occasionally and watch a lot of inappropriate films for minors, which is another reason why the title is shit. The Cool Kids Film Club. It's not for kids. We're not kids. Yeah. Now I've lost. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I was going to change the background of the telly just for the goodbye section, but I can't be bothered. We've got that on. Oh, I know how to do it. There we go. Just for the sake of the goodbye scene. Bye.
Bye. See you next week.
This is the Cool